business as a social media consultant. The first thing he said to me, one, he introduced himself. And I tell you, I've been in another coffee shop for almost the prior year, and they didn't even remember my name and even acknowledge the fact that I was in there every Friday night for 4 hours writing and bought stuff and things like that. He introduced himself. He told me, he asked me what I was doing. I said I was in business, and he offered me his wireless printer in his office should I need to take a call because it was cold. I can't tell you what an impression that made. It's my #1 place of business to go to work, to meet people. He's using social media. We sit down and talk about strategies, how I felt about what he did, and he listened, and he's made some changes, and it's a great honor to have Lance come up and talk.
Like she said, my name is Lance Ratze. I'm the owner of Yola's Cafe, and Yola's is just west of the Princeton Club, at the corner of Watts and Commerce Drive, in the Cortland Commons Shopping Center by Brennan's West. How many know where that is about located? Because our address is 494 Commerce, and nobody's ever heard of Commerce Drive. But a lot of people have heard of the Princeton Club, and they've heard of Brennan's, and they've heard of Watts Road. So we're right there in the corner next to RP Adler's. I want to answer the question, who is Yola? And I've got her picture because I'm not Yola. My wife's name is Lisa, and she's not Yola either. And so that's Yola right there. She is my grandmother. She died of bone cancer in April of 2008, right after we moved to Wisconsin from the Twin Cities. We were talking about opening a cafe in her honor, and I just want to give you a little bit of background why we named it Yola's. Yola's, unlike Jacob talking about this nice furniture, Yola's house had a lot of just eclectic look. It looked like your grandmother's house. Downstairs, she had literally like a restaurant set up. She had a steam table in one corner of the basement. She had paneling walls. She had old benches from like a local church for all the family to sit on. Our dining room table, so it was big enough to feed everybody, was a ping pong table with a bunch of different throws over it. The pool table on the other end of the basement, she would put a big, thick plywood over it and cover that as well, and that was the dessert table. If you've ever seen my uncles, I come from a large family. I mean, not just in numbers, but large. And my dad's 6'10". I am the shortest in my family on my dad's side. My grandma's only 4'11". And so my grandma would walk around and she would serve people. She had an incredible gift of hospitality. She was from the restaurant industry. She made awesome, awesome pastries and stuff from scratch. So there was just always food available. There was always a game of euchre and hearts going on. She's from Gratiot, Wisconsin. And when I think about Yola's, I think about, that's what I think about. I think about a place for people to gather together. There's conversations that would happen in the living room. There was games of euchre and hearts at the kitchen table. Downstairs was the food. When all the food was devoured, the plywood would be removed and the pool games and the ping pong would start. And it was just a place for family and friends. And that's what we envisioned Yola's to be, a place for the community to come together, forget about the cares of life, to be an oasis, get work done, have conversations. And so we have set up our cafe that way. So that's Yola, and that's why we named it in her honor. Because I'm here at a social media breakfast, I want to talk about our social media journey. We are on Twitter. We have an account on Twitter. Haven't done much with it. I'm also on LinkedIn. I've been utilizing Google Places and Yelp and Urban Spoon because my industry being the restaurant industry. And then we also have an active Facebook fan page that we engage our customers. I threw this in here because our journey started back in January of 2009. We are a little bit over 2 years old. We had 2 other cafes in the shopping center prior to us, Meeting Grounds and then Crema Cafe, and then now Yola's Cafe. And it's funny to me, as a person in retail, that you can go into a spot that's had the same industry and be viewed in a negative way because of the last two places have failed. They were there for about a year or less, and then the next place came and was there for about 6 months, and then us. And so that we had to overcome this whole credibility. How long are you going to be here? What are you going to do that's different than the last two places that's going to cause you to make it? And we found that social media has really helped us to gain that credibility, that trust, to engage our customer base. Early on, Dr. Wade Anderson from Anderson Chiropractic, he's a chiropractor in our shopping center. He came in and he said, I love the vibe of this place over the last two places that were here. I believe in you guys. We created a friendship. I really looked to him early on, and he invited me to come to his B&I group. How many know what B&I stands for? Okay, for those that don't, it's Business Network International. It's the world's largest leading and referral organization worldwide. It's a place where you have a membership. You're required to attend each of the meetings. You get in there every week, and you have to be consistent. You have an opportunity to network and refer and ask for specific referrals. The B&I group that I'm a part of is called Premier Business Connection. There was 38 businesses when I joined, so we're the largest in the state of Wisconsin and have the highest amount of sales and finances, money passed. Part of that is because we have Jim Pope from Wintrust Mortgage, and he sells and does a lot of mortgages on homes, and so it really inflates the number. 38 businesses for me equals a large sales force that are out there representing our brand, telling other people about us, helping find customers and clients. And beyond that, I have 38 businesses now that come and have their meetings at Yola's. I have 38 businesses that utilize us for catering, for events. I have 38 businesses that are telling other people about our catering events. And so there's this social networking and professional networking happening at that level. Through BNI, I was introduced to 2 Mile Solutions being a new business in November of 2009. We launched our website, and we chose 2 Mile Solutions because they were an innovator and leading innovator in WordPress platforms. And so our website is built on a WordPress platform, utilizing social media, the different widgets for the different things, like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, signing up for like MailChimp. Some of you probably use Constant Contact or something else for your e-newsletters. There's our website. You can find that at yolascafe.com. I want to show you something how social media networking happens. Jeff was not only our web developer, but once I built a relationship with him, he told me, he said, I need a place to host a small group of people. And so through that, we began to host his group every other Friday night. And so that the people there is his group. So that brought us individuals into the cafe. Out of that, we got to know the people from his group, and one of them ended up becoming one of our employees. Aaron Baker, that brought the food in this morning, is now our catering events coordinator out of that relationship. Also, he told another person about us who began to have all of his meetings at our cafe, and through that, telling other people about it, we were able to cater to large events because of this person, which led to, down at the bottom, all those people, Allstate Insurance was one of the clients, and they said, we need turkey dinner for all of our employees out at our call center in Cross Plains. So we cooked tons of turkeys at Thanksgiving time, and we fed all 200 of their employees out at Allstate. So you can just see how the relationships happen. How many would like to learn a little bit about Groupon or Living Social? Okay, how it works. July of 2010, we were one of the first businesses that utilized and were called upon to do a feature deal with Groupon. And I want to talk a little bit. There's a lot of people that call us and ask us, how was your response? We've also been with Living Social. Back on February 23rd, we did a Living Social event as well. And I want to quickly go through this. With Groupon, they called up and they began to talk to us about how it works. And there's 3 things that I want to share with you this morning. When looking at doing anything with a coupon company like Google or Living Social, and there's other local ones, always ask these 3 questions. What are the costs associated with the deal? Can my store or business handle the influx of customers? And can the business afford to wait a month or months before the payouts happen? Our deal was $7 for $14 worth of food and drink. Now when Groupon and Living Social call, there's like a high-powered sales pitch. They're moving through their database. They want to sign up as many small businesses as possible. They're pushing really hard to get you on board. And so I took that as to my advantage to say, okay, they want us to be on board. They're getting something from this. And so I'm going to negotiate hard the terms. I've learned after my first campaign, with the $7 for $14 worth of food and drink, we did kind of an awkward, the $14, hoping that people would spend above and beyond $14 when they came into the store. Out of the $7 that was received, we get $3.50. We negotiated 50%. Now you can negotiate a much better percentage, like say 40 or 30% that they get, you would get the rest. A lot of people don't know this, but you have to negotiate, you need to push hard. Also, Groupon wanted us to pay the merchant fees for the $3.50. If people were to swipe a credit card, they wanted us to pay for the merchant fees for that card. We also negotiated that we would not pay for that we would get the full 50%. Okay? So $7 for $14 worth of food equals, we're going to get $3.50, but we're going to give away $10.50 worth of food and drink. How's this break down? Our loss, I figured out what it's going to cost us is $2,100. $10.50, we sold 200 deals. So 200 times 10.50 comes out to around $2,100. It's going to cost us for this campaign. Groupon pays back in 3 installments. They tell you that the reason they give you 3 installments over 3 months is because they want you to not go out of business. They want you to honor everybody's coupon, and so they call it accountability. Living Social is a little bit different, to where they pay you within the first 15 days of your thing. So I have to cover. What happened for us is we had 60% of our coupons that were brought in and redeemed within the first month. So I had to handle all that, plus I had to bring on extra people on the weekends. And so you have to factor in your labor costs of how you're going to cover that labor-wise, the influx of customers. So you have to have money banked to be able to do something like this, because you're not going to get your full money until that 3-month period is over. So you have to cover the $233 is all I had to work on when I had 60% of the offers redeemed right away. Now it did bring a big spike to our website. It's pretty awesome when your web developer calls you up and says, "Man, what just happened?" And it's like, "What do you mean?" He's like all of a sudden, everybody is like going to Yola's Cafe, and I said, "Well, we just had a Groupon." And so everybody was flooding to find out more about us. They were going to our Google Places page. And so for us, we took the fact that we only sold 200. I think those that get in trouble are the ones that sell 1,000, and it's a larger price amount. And so we took advantage of the fact that we're a new business. We feel like if we can get people in the door to taste our product, they'll come back. And so we felt like it was a good thing for us. Now it has been a bad thing for other people, so you just need to look at all the pluses and minuses to it, know how to negotiate the terms, understanding the terms, When you lock in with Groupon or Living Social, you can't do any other types of campaigns that actually make you sign a legal document saying that you will stick to that, because they don't want you to become too saturated so that you can't follow through on your commitment. It can be a quality killer. If everybody walks in, a quality killer in mind of your current customer base, they're expecting that same consistent service. I mean, if you have this big influx of customers and you're not ready for it and you're not staffed for it, then all of a sudden they're going to be like, what happened? You know, I'm not getting the same consistent taste. I'm not getting the same service. You know, Lance is not coming out and talking to me. He's worried about all these new customers that are coming in that might only be transactional customers and not the relational customers. Transactional meaning they're just going to go on to the next Groupon deal that they get emailed tomorrow and leave you. It has helped our business. Talk about ROI. When we started, we were at 70. We average about 70 transactions a day. We are running right around 125 to 150 transactions a day a year later. And I attribute that to all the things that I'm sharing today. I think Groupon is one of those things. And so we were ready to do Living Social and excited about that they have a social media component built in. With Living Social, you can actually, the person buying the Living Social can actually get $1 off if they like your Facebook page. Now that we did that, we only gained maybe 5 or 10 people that would actually follow through and like our page as a result. And so that wasn't a big return on investment as far as the social media aspect, but I thought that was a nice added benefit. There is tracking that goes along with this. You don't get everybody's email addresses, and so you can't bombard them. But you do with Living Social that you didn't get with Groupon. Will show you where most of those people bought from, and you get their names and how many they bought and who they referred you to and who they bought for. And so you can print out analytics. They also give you sheets where you can, as a redeemed, you can write how much was spent over and above the ticket price, and so you can track that as well. Social media came about, as Wendy was saying, when she first came into the store. I've always been intrigued by marketing and then social media marketing the last several years. And here I am meeting my first strategist consultant, and I'm going to learn as much as I can from her, because that's just how I've been wired. No matter what I've ever done, was if you want to learn about something, find people that are doing it better than you and sit down and take notes. And so I did that. I sat down with Wendy and in the cafe several times. We just sat down this last week and talked again about website and SEO and search engine optimization and how to do that. She gave me this, what I think was a wealth of wisdom. Pick 1 or 2 social media platforms and do them well. And we talked about it, we brainstormed what was going to be good for Yola's. And I chose Facebook and LinkedIn. Now, why did I choose Facebook? Because I wanted to have that relational connection that Jacob talked about. It's not so much about selling people, but building. I look at Facebook as an online research tool. March 24th, Facebook launched Facebook Questions. I would challenge you to find out about that, how to integrate that to your Facebook page. You can go on Mashable.com or just do a search for Facebook Questions, but allows you to ask questions. And so you can do surveys right on your Facebook page. Your friends, as they answer, they're exposing, your question is exposed to their friends. They can add different responses and answers to the questions and answers that you propose. So you give like a multiple choice question. So a question I just asked was, would you like Yola's to be open longer in the spring and summer months? Unbelievable amount of people said yes, 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 yes. And then somebody wrote in their own question, would you stay open later than 9 o'clock because I get more work done when I put my kids to sleep? And so they were able to write in their own thing. And then I had several other moms, probably like a LOL type thing, just saying, yeah, would you do that? And so now as an owner, I can say, I have a customer base that is willing to come and will support our business after hours. And then now I could follow up and say, would you be willing to allow Yolas to host your book club or your game night or your social interaction or your knitters group. And so I could follow up with stuff like that. And what hours would be the best? And so I want to make sure that we're going to be able to support the business and know that having additional labor there, that's going to be justified by staying open past 4:30. And so that's one way that I use Facebook. LinkedIn, I want to share real quick about LinkedIn. I've got about 199 connections. To answer Ibrahim's question is, when I go to a networking event, when I get introduced to somebody, like here today, if you give me your business card, I want to go home and like your page, tell you it was nice meeting you today, and reach out to you and give to you, and it's the whole giver's gain thing, like Jacob said. The more you give, the more you're going to receive. And so just doing shout outs, and through that I've gained my followers through Facebook, business followers, and then my connections on LinkedIn. Now, right now is the tax season. There's a lot of hungry accountants that are burning the candle at both ends, and they need food. And so we did a 1040 special. And we said, we will give you $10.40 gift card to come into the cafe to try our food. In return, we want to talk to the decision makers in your company and bring samples, and we want to feed your hungry accountants. And so I did a search on LinkedIn and said, for CFOs and human resource people. And I found out that my son's soccer coach was the CFO of Flat Architects in town. And so I reached out to him and said, Mitch, this is Josh's dad. I own Yola's Cafe. I don't know it or not, but we've got this special going on right now. He responded back and said, I didn't know you guys catered. We love to try out new food and new people, and we would love for you to come. So we brought samples. They said, sign us up. We want a house account. And so now we're taking food there on a regular basis. This is how things can help. We're serving them. We're providing a need for them, filling a need for them. In return, they put me on their mailing list. They're letting me know that Victor Allen's on Maple Grove Road is going out of business. Are you looking for a second location? Borders just closed and they have all this cafe equipment. Do you want to come look at it? So it's benefiting a need for me as well. And so this is how the give and take goes back and forth. There's the example of the question that we asked, and as you can see, the bar over there for yes. And then the likes of the different businesses, business people that come into the cafe that we like and reach out to as well. Recently, I did a Facebook ad campaign. I've done these before, but I wanted to do one that was more targeted. And so we kept it simple, and we reached out to people and targeted people that were within 10 miles of the Madison area. We put a goal of $25 that we would spend. We budgeted $25 a day for 4 days, April 4th, 6th through the 10th. As you can see on the graph, we had a huge spike of people actually visiting our page. We had 238,119 impressions. That means they saw our ad, and all we said was, like Yola's page to find out more about promotions, events, special offers, and things that are coming up. And we had 94 clicks that they actually clicked through, and then there shows the cost per click. We were at 391, and we ended at, after 4 days, we added 50 more fans to the cafe. And so it was just me experimenting. I targeted people that were above 25 and had coffee in their likes and interests. And so that's something that I felt like was, you can boil it down to, well, that was $2 a fan. But I look at it like what Jacob said, top of mind awareness. It showed up on 238,000, impressions. And so you can't buy that.
People in the Madison area that like coffee.
Yep.
It could show up, that's not unique impressions, is it? So it could have showed up on someone's Facebook page or been exposed to the same person multiple times.
Right.
But the numbers of people on Facebook in Madison is quite high.
Yeah. That's why Google just opened an office here in Madison. And that's why Living Social Groupon has brought people here from Washington, D.C. And so, because of the university and the amount of young people on Facebook. We did some, Life 102.5 is a Christian contemporary radio station. It's probably not a target for a lot of you guys, but it represented our demographic base that came to us and said, would you be willing to do a business break? And if any of you guys have ever listened to 102.5, I'm sure you've heard Yola's mentioned 1,000 times on there. The business break, their demographic is stay-at-home moms with young children. They're right up front. This is who listens, predominantly women, and that's who's going to come to the cafe throughout the day. So it was important for us to have a children's area on one end, and then we have a business area on the opposite end. We have a divider that we put up. We made sure that we have outlets at every table, because that's a huge thing. When I go somewhere, I hate having to reach up almost to the ceiling to plug in where there used to be a TV. I hate having to create a trip hazard because I'm having to have my power cord going all the way across the aisle and having people stare at me, especially during lunchtime. I used to go to Panera, like a lot of you guys, and then it was frustrating when they would turn my computer off after 30 minutes. And so we see people, they'll like come into our place and we're like, yep, they probably just got kicked out of Panera, so they just moved down the street to Yola's. But people have found that it's a great environment to do business, and because of that, and because of my own personal, feelings, I have made it business friendly. We have a shredder in there from Shred It that you can bring documents. Wendy doesn't know this yet, but I just went out and purchased a nice pub type table and stool set. I should have got it at the Century House for my office. We've turned my office into a lot of catering storage, but we have a fax machine in there and a wireless printer. I've cleaned it all up and made it all nice because last week Wendy was talking to a dental consultant in our cafe and said, what would make Yola's even better? And she said, as it gets loud and it's cold outside, and if I get a phone call or if I want to make a Skype connection, I'm looking for somewhere that's quiet. And so now we leave my office door open and you can walk in there, set up your computer if you need to print something. The USB cable is right there, you can plug it in, or you can put a thumb drive right in it. And so we just want to be accommodating and reaching out. Now, not everybody's going to be able to go in there at the same time. That'll defeat the purpose. But, when is that going to happen? Rarely. But if you do need to pay space, then that's available. Getting back to radio, we did a business break where we offered $10. Feed 10 people breakfast. And what you would do is you go to Life 102.5's website because you heard about the business break, and then each week they would draw a name of a business, and then they would come and pick up food for 10 people, breakfast for 10 people. And we did it in conjunction with Princeton Club's Million Pound Challenge. And so we did all healthy food. And so a lot of our food is healthy. It's all made from scratch. All of our pastries, everything's made from scratch using great ingredients that are good for you. And so we did that. Out of that came a lot of catering clients because we were going to like Dean Health Systems, UW was a winner, Wingra was a winner, Meiker and Associates CPA firm was a winner. And so a lot of these people become our clients. So this is another way how social media comes into it. There's a link to the page so people could come to our website, like our Facebook page through our front page of our website, and we can start engaging them that way. Google Places is, how many got, we've got 3 of them, how many got the Google Place stuff in your mailbox with the candy dish? Some of you are like, man, I don't even have a physical location and I got a candy dish to put out. How am I going to get reviews out of this? Well, Google, it just announced they're in Madison. If you go to the Google Places blog, it says, welcome Madison. They're making a big push right now. Wendy was like, where's my candy dish? I gave her one of our 3 because I got 2 for the previous 2 clients, cafes that were there. And so I got meeting grounds and cremas as well. And so I've got like 3 of these candy dishes, so I gave her one of them. In that came this Google Places catalog. Now I know a spot owner friend of mine, Lori Heffernan from Oasis Day Spa at the Princeton Club, she threw her box away. And I was like, oh man, why'd you throw it away? In the box was not only the candy dish and candy, but they're launching something new called Google Boost. Have you ever heard of it? Google Boost is like Google AdWords, but it's local. Like I could care less. I don't want to advertise and pay for people to click through to my website or learn more about my company if they're in Arkansas. They're never going to come to Madison and buy coffee at Yola's. And so they came out with something called Google Boost, which is like AdWords locally. And they put within that box a $100 coupon to try out Google Boost. So I would encourage you to go back into your box, find that $100 gift card, and use it. There's also all these free items. Google actually came out to the cafe and talked about it. They're targeting Chamber of Commerce. I'm sure if Wendy talked to one of the local representatives, they'd want to come speak to you guys as well. They're really trying to get people to fill out completely their Google Place page. We have a 94% completion rate as far as filling ours out. I said, what could I have done to have 100%? And they said, put up a event. And so I just added an event this week. We're having waffles with the Easter Bunny on Saturday. And so we did that. But they have, like for our industry, there's coffee sleeves that with Google Places, review, you know, encouraging people to review. There's sugar packets, and this is all free stuff. Now they said the lead time on this is, because of the influx of people asking for these things, is about 3 to 5 weeks before you're going to get it. But the faster you order them, the better. So go through and find out what's going to be good for your industry. And this is a way to get reviews. Google Places also, because they're really working hard, they have this new thing called Hot Pot. And that's where you can like do reviews and share reviews with your friends and have your friends, you know, link up with other friends so they can see where you're buying and who you're loyal to. Because people make, if Wendy comes to me and says Graphite is the best place to get your Mac computer, because of her recommendation, I'm probably going to look at them over going to the Apple store because I have credit, you know, I feel like she's a credible person, and I'm going to listen to her advice. And so that's how these things can work. So it's really good to have a Gmail account and set up these things and share back and forth with them. Google Places, we have 10 reviews right now. We started with none. How we're doing it is a lot of times when people come in, if they're on the computer and say, man, I'm really glad that I found this place, I'll say, hey, do you have a Gmail account? And if they say yes, I'll say, hey, would you be willing to share that on Google Places, just your review just now? And I'm not asking them to say something good about us, but just share what you just shared with me. So other people, you know, we have other 2 and 3 stars as well. And you don't want to have a perfect 5-star rating because that's not, it looks like to people that you're just having your employees and stuff do that. You can put photos on your Google Place page and videos. You can put up to 5 YouTube videos. Wendy was like, put a video on your place page. And so I'm like, I can't afford to hire one of the local people to do a video for me right now. And so I came across a website called Animoto, ANIMOTO.com. And that's if you have a bunch of pictures from events, or say Jacob had a bunch of pictures of the different furniture he has here, he could upload it to Animoto's site, pick some music to go along with it, and within 30 seconds in your inbox you have a complete video. And you can import text and different things, and so it's really cool. You can link it back to your website. There's a free version, there's an intermediate version, and then there's a really inexpensive pro version where they take off their watermarks and all their little tags, and so it looks like it was professionally done for you. It's great for photographers that do weddings and stuff to have like an instant slideshow of the event. And so we have one on our Google Place page. You can put offers in. We've had several people come in and do this. We're right next to Hampton Inn and Homestead Suites. And so we have a lot of people that are coming in from out of town for the Epic user group meetings. A lot of these people are staying at these motels. There's big Badger coach buses. And so they're tired after staying and eating the same breakfast at the motel. They're looking to broaden horizons. And so they'll get on their smartphone and they'll do a Yelp search or Urban Spoon or a Google Play search to find out where's their coffee shop in our locale. They'll find us on Yelp or Google Places. We have an offer, and they'll come in and say, man, it's so cool that you have this free 16-ounce coffee with purchase. And so we've had a lot of people take us up on that. This is a picture of Google Places when our Living Social happened. You can see the impressions and then actions were high during the campaign as people were trying to find out about us. For those who have a question about Yelp, Yelp has a filter, and right now we have like 4 Yelp reviews and like 8 in the filter, and that really frustrates me because the 4 that they use it's mixed, and the 8 are like all 4 and 5 stars, and it's like people I don't know, and I'm like, man, I wish they were up there. And Google Places pulls in Yelp and Urban Spoon, and so one of the things that I found just recently is they get caught in the filter if the person's fairly new, they haven't reviewed another place. So Yelp's really trying to guard against those gushy, ooey gooey, this place is the best type comments. They're trying to guard against employees or your own friends, saying all these great things about you. So in order to get those out of the filter, the best way to do that is, as a business owner, you can go in and begin to communicate with that person. You know how it says useful, funny, not useful? You can go into the filter as the business owner and say this was useful or that's funny, you know what you said. Add them as a Yelp friend. You can do that. Comment back to them so it gives them more activity. It could be they're in the filter just because they're brand new and this is their first review. And so that can help pull them out of the filter and back up top so that it can factor into your overall Yelp score. There is a place, I believe it's called Park and Slope. Their website is like buried within Google, but their Google Place page comes up in the top 10 because they have done so well at getting reviews. And so this is how Google is doing things right now. They're looking for social interaction, and as their robots go out there and they're seeing the constant changes as you're updating, adding events, and it's pulling that up. So you can actually be further up with your Google Place page than your actual website itself. So I really encourage people to fill out those profiles, fill them all the way out. If you're not a good person, hire a ghostwriter or something to sit down with you, interview you, and write out a nice bio for you. Our next steps are, we just sat down with our web developer, looking at, I don't know that much about keywords, he's just bringing me up to speed, the whole search engine optimization, how to get our website higher. It seems to be when you go on Google and you do Coffee Madison that they show all the east side locations and not any of the coffee shops on the west side. And we do come up when you put West Side Madison Coffee, so that's good. I want to keep gathering more reviews. I think the iPad could be awesome. If you had an iPad up at your counter when people check out or if they share something with you, would you be willing to go on right now and put that review? So you're taking away that barrier of them forgetting to do it later on. Google Boost, I want to use that $100 coupon now that I know more about it. I'd like to utilize Twitter and LinkedIn more, talking about our catering events, reaching out that way. I've encouraged Aaron to do that as well. We've gotten a lot of return on investment through being invested in community organizations, again, giving. We donated a waffle bar for 225 people at the Princeton Club a few weeks ago for a community anniversary celebration for a company. And then I put at the end, and who knows, maybe even a second location. And so we would love that.